Welcome, everyone. My name is Diana Amini. I'm the Global Manager for H&M Foundation. So first of all, the question, why do we need to reinvent the fashion industry? Well, I would say that there are two answers to that. First of all, we need to do it because of the planet and the people living on the planet. We need to protect the planet and people's living conditions. And with the growing population, we also know that we will need to find a way to produce clothes, but still reduce the impact on the environment. So that's really the background. And the second one is looking at today's and tomorrow's consumers. We know that they will demand that sustainability is part of the offer from you as a business. And also looking into the business case, having employees. Looking at H&M, for example, we are around 160,000 employees globally. Around 80 to 85% are born after the 1st of January 1980. So to be able to attract and keep our employees at H&M, this is going to be core. We'll use this one. So what is then needed? We need innovations, and we need to find new materials, new processes, and new business models to be able to make this change. And as a foundation that are clearly linked, of course, to the fashion industry, we wanted to take lead on this. And first of all, I just wanted to share some facts about us as a foundation. See if this works. Yeah. We started 3 years ago, and the way we did it was through a public online vote, asking the public to tell us what to focus on. And we received 120,000 votes globally, and we focus on education, water, equality, and planet. And within the focus area planet, we have chosen to focus, to initiate an innovation challenge called Global Change Award. And the reason why we're doing that is that we want to find groundbreaking ideas that could really help us reinvent the fashion industry, make it more circular, make it more sustainable, which is needed to protect the planet and people's living conditions. But we wouldn't be able to do this ourselves, so we quite early choose to partner with Accenture and with the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm. We were actually quite worried the first year. We have now done 2 rounds, but the first year we were really worried about the amount of applications. What if we didn't receive so many good applications of high quality? But this was the result. We see this one. This was the result from this year. Almost 3,000 applications from 130 countries. A lot of countries, we actually don't really know how they got to know about the competition because H&M doesn't operate in the countries. We don't have any communication channels in there. In the top 10, we had, for example, Nigeria, Brazil, and countries like that. So much is going on. There's so many great ideas out there. And when we talk about circularity, many people ask, like, what is that? And I think the easiest way to explain it is to say that we need to go away from like take, make, waste, consumption and production and find a way where we can close the loop for fashion, where we can reuse materials, for example. And as you can imagine, having almost 3,000 applications, we couldn't do the selection ourselves, even though we invited, of course, the Royal Institute of Technology and Accenture in this process. We also included an expert panel. I'm not going to read all the names, but the important thing was that they represent different sectors: entrepreneurship, sustainability, fashion, innovation. Because we know that to be able to find the best ideas, we really need to have people from different sectors looking at the innovations. So what do the winners get then? We select 5 winners. They share a grant of 1 million euro. And this is actually distributed by an online vote. Again, This is kind of how we work. We want to involve the public to raise awareness and also be part of these important issues. But maybe more important than the money, the winner at least has said so far, is the accelerator program, which goes on for a year. They get individual coaching from Accenture. They get to meet the industry. You can see here, they go to Shanghai to meet with the industry. They also go to Milan to have more of a consumer perspective. But all year, they have a lot of coaching and sessions with the teams. And I think this is quite unique in that way, that you get the access to the industry to really try your idea. And you also get the money to be able to focus on the idea. And what's also important to mention is that neither H&M Foundation, that is a non-profit, or H&M as a company takes any ownership or equity of the ideas. It's totally up to the innovators after this year how they want to proceed with their innovations. We will hear a bit more about that. So, I don't know if you recognize this building, but we are based in Stockholm. This is the City Hall. It's also the venue for the Nobel Prize. So we're very humble here, as you can see, trying to start like the Nobel Prize for fashion. And this is the venue where we had the grand award ceremony now for 2 years. We just had the second one in early April. And that was actually also the end of the first year's winners being part of the accelerator program. So we have just chosen 5 new winners who have begun their journey. But I just want to tell you about the ones who have been in the program for 1 year to see about their progress. Let's see if it works.
We weren't born heroes. We just believe we can make a difference.
Mitä jos pystyisimme uusiokäyttämään puuvillaa ilman, että sen laatu heikkeni?
What if we could recycle polyester, the most used fabric in the world?
E se si potessero trasformare le bucce di agrumi in abiti?
Mis oleks, kui me saaksime luua turu, kust brändid ja disainerid saaksid osta jääkmaterjale tootjatelt, et luua uusi riideid?
Voor mij ligt de oplossing voor onze toekomst net onder haar oppervlak. Nu werk ik met veel toewijding om van algen een duurzame stof te maken.
The future is not a place we're going to, it's a place we create.
So that was just a short overview of the winners from last year. And the third round for applications will open up in September. So please tell anyone you know who has a great idea to participate. I think if we just could have like 1 or 2 of the ideas being able to scale up for the whole industry, it would make a tremendous difference. Here to present what orange fiber, or 100% citrus, as we call it in the competition, is Enrique Arena. And you will talk a bit more about your story within Global Change Award.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm very emotional now after seeing the video. It's always like, wow, more than 1 year has passed and so many things have changed. But so many things have changed since we ever started the project back in 2012. And we started from a simple idea. We all know oranges, and we are familiar with that, and we have the idea that if something positive for us, it's natural. But what we don't have in mind is that every year, just in Italy, more than 700,000 tons of byproducts is created by the food industry. This has to be disposed in a way or another, and it's just a resource that is there and nobody uses. So Adriana had the idea of entering the lab of Politecnico di Milano, and this was 2012-2013, to prove the feasibility of the idea of creating a material starting from those peels. So when we applied for Global Change Award, we were at the very, we had the first prototypes, but we never tried these things at the semi-industrial level, and we never produced thousands of meters. So it was a very, we knew it was possible. We didn't know how much it would cost and how it could be done. So this is our process in brief. We take the peels, we extract a cellulose, we develop a yarn, then the yarn goes to our partners for creating a textile, and then we sell it directly to fashion brands. They decide how to print it and if they want to print it, and then they transform it into clothes. So what we do a sustainable and innovative textile from fashion, from citrus products. And this is alternative from wood. Why am I mentioning this? As Diana said, right now, fashion is the second most polluting industry in the world, very resource intensive. First material used is oil. Second material used are like cotton and natural derivatives. Third are cellulose derivatives that comes from wood. The demand in textile is increasing as the population increases, so it means we have to deplete more resource while we can extract a cellulose from peels that are freely available on the market and that otherwise have to be disposed. So what we do, we reduce waste and we talk directly to consumers. So we have developed an ingredient brand that communicates to the people who will wear the clothes, even if we don't make the clothes, because we want to raise awareness and we want people to look at the labels and the tags and realize that every choice they make every day can make a difference in the environment and how the world goes by. So this is our timeline. I will go briefly, but really Global Change Award for us was the turning point from proving the concept of the idea and the process to developing a company that now has sold the first 15,000 meters of textile to a major fashion brand and is now in store. So it really changed how we look at ourselves and how we look at the world. Going to Shanghai and have the chance to talk with people like H&M as a company or other partners they involved in the process really made us understand how big we can go and how much impact we can make. So this is to say that recently, just 1 week ago, 10 days ago, we launched the first citrus collection with Salvatore Ferragamo that is now in store, and it features our label, orange fiber in the label, and for us it's something that wasn't really, we had it in our mind, it was our dream, but it's something that maybe would have never been possible without winning this award, and gives us today with an incredible vision of how our future looks like from this standpoint. So if you want to have any news on us, just follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and I'm here for going deep in how we can make a difference all together.
We're going to follow up with some questions with Enrique, but I also want to invite Michael Saxton, who's representing Reversed Resources, another winning team from last year.
Thanks very much. Hi, everybody. Yeah, Diana, thanks for explaining the way that the GCA awards work. I feel a little bit like a cuckoo, I guess, because I'm here on behalf of Anne Runnell, who's the founder, and it's really her brainchild, Reverse Resources. So what do we do? In essence, our challenge is tackling what we're calling leftover materials in the fashion production chain. And when I talk about leftover materials, what do I mean? I'm talking about those which are spilled out of the value chain from production, cutting scraps, excess fabrics, roll ends, discarded pieces, overproduction. I guess if I really want you to understand the size of the challenge, I just want you to kind of close your eyes for 1 second and just imagine what a pile of leftover fabrics look like from a typical factory. And now I'll show you. So what you're looking at here is from one of the facilities in our pilot trial in Bangladesh. And this is where leftover fabrics have been grouped together in bundles, waiting for processing. In the next image, the leftover materials, which are sometimes known by vernacular as spills, literally have spilled out of the factory and into the garden area, neatly bundled. And then in this image, you can see a group of guys here who are local jobbers. They come to the garment manufacturer, they purchase the garments, which they then use to sell within the local market. And you can see that the bundles are now slightly distressed. And finally, in this particular image, this is Anne, who is the founder of the company. This is Anne at one of the sites where the leftover materials are now starting to degrade before they're taken away. So I don't know, when you closed your eyes, you had an image of how big a challenge that this might become, but hopefully this gives you an idea of what needs to be done and really what we're trying to do about it. So the GCA award has been hugely helpful for Reverse Resources. The business is based in Estonia. It's been very well supported by Startup Estonia and the Estonian government. But GCA gave, I suppose Enrica probably sort of mentioned it, it was the tipping point which enabled the business to move forward. So it's helped us to, one, turn the concept into a software reality, but it's really opened our eyes, and I think all stakeholders' eyes, to the size of the opportunity. And what we've really found, I suppose the headline figure, is that the size of the production spills is hugely underestimated, rather. And as much as 25% of the material going into the factory actually emerges as spill. And of that, through the market research that we've done, we've established that 20% of that can actually be used in remanufacturing. So, we think quite candidly it's a huge growth opportunity for the textile sector. If I look at where we've gone in the last 12 months, we've conducted 8 major pilot programs. And when we crunch the numbers together to get to a figure for the average factory, what we can see is, an average factory producing 3.8 million garments per month creates 300 tons of spill, of which roughly a quarter of that can be used in remanufacturing. So the size of the opportunity through roll ends, greige fabrics and so forth, that upper quartile is very key. So what are we doing about it? Well, we are a software business, so we're producing a system which can be used by the brands as well as the manufacturers. We're equipping them with the tools that they need to understand inventory, where they can bring the leftover fabrics back into the system. And then through that, we're now moving on to our next steps, which is, one, from the software development side, increasing the speed of our platform. We're starting to work around remanufacturing, building a designer toolkit, which enables remanufacturing processes to come into the brand. Obviously, this all sounds, in some ways, incredibly straightforward and logical, but the reality is that an enormous level of hard work has to take place on the ground, and our team's out there working on standardized processes for the factories so that they can understand what storing, segregation, and moving the material to one side looks like. And then finally, with our colleagues at H&M, we're building a program and how we can develop it in circularity. So that's us. Thanks.
So let's sit down and we can continue with some questions. Please, Enrica. So I think those should work as well. So I was just interested in, I mean, I have been following you at least, Enrique. You have been part of the process, and just more than a year ago, you received the prize in the City Hall of Stockholm. How has the past year been from your perspective?
Well, it was crazy. In one word, it was great. No, it was amazing because it really opened up the company and as a team to think big and think international. So the grant gave us not just the amount of resources that we need to look farther from what was happening in the lab, let's say, but also to have the people to confront with, to grow. So on one hand, Accenture team. On the other hand, we had these opportunities of the trips all over to really speak with people in production and purchasing to figure out whether the product we had in our mind is something the market needs or will eventually buy. So it really changed our perspective from we are pursuing a dream and we know that a product is feasible to we can make the change and it's tangible, it's feasible, and we have the resources to do it.
As a foundation who's also independent of the company and who works like beyond the value chain, we do this innovation challenge for the whole industry. We are of course happy to see that also another brand wanted to be part of this. How has the reaction been to this beautiful collection?
Well, as far as we know, it was, I mean, people love it and it's very good to know. And we look forward to do new development. So having the chance to validate these with them, it was very good because we had a lot of feedback through the value chain, but also we see how people react to this. So we really look forward to have new clients and start new challenges. So it was, yeah, a real big challenge and a real big journey to get it done.
Thank you. So Michael, I know you haven't been part of all the accelerator, but what would you say at this point? What's the challenge for the project that you represent?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to sort of echo your comments first of all, actually, about the ability of the program to be a catalyst for our business. So it's really enabled us to get behind the scenes and understand how the garment industry needs to respond. But for us, we're now at the stage where we have developed our first minimum viable product, which is tremendously exciting. So after really 9 months of intensive research on the ground, where H&M and Accenture have really opened up their access of their networks to us, we've been able to understand that our first concept is actually what the market's looking for. So it's tremendously exciting.
Thank you. But Enrique, what did it mean to be 5 winners? I mean, you have been kind of following each other during the year. How has that been?
Yeah, we had been in contact with each other, and we also shared a lot of information among of us. And also we are doing that also with the new winners. I had a lot of people back in Italy asking for the wine leather. And so we are also trying to share because we know the journey we have done in Italy and we can help them getting through. So for instance, we collaborate with a number of research centers and university that the other winners were in contact with. So on one hand, this helped us develop networks for research. And on the other hand, very often, we also confronted each other on opportunities or challenges we were facing. So being as a team and also just having a chat among peers on what we see after that, on how it is going, it gives you the idea that you are not alone, because otherwise you are there on your task day after day and you don't realize there are other people getting the same journey that you are doing and you can support each other. So being 5 winners gives you the idea that we have to do this together.
Just to explain, the first place winner of this year's competition were also from Italy. They're making leather-like from grapes, actually. So what's the thing with Italy and sustainability?
And food.
And food. Yeah, okay, that's it.
Food and fashion.
We have this incredible, value chain there. I think that for us it will have took much longer if we don't have all these districts there. So it's very easy to go there and do the next step. So on one hand, you have the know-how from a certain part of the process afterward, and on the other hand, you really have the willingness to change. We are millennials in a way, and we have challenges. We see the challenges and we want to make a change. So, and we are rich in food, and made in Italy food and fashion are like so common that it's a starting point. You really need to have a shift in how you look at it, but it's there and it's part of us as a heritage.
So Michael, what's the next step for reversed resources?
I mean, for us, it's building out of the pilot stage into our real full iteration of the software program. So we are really kind of concentrating all of our technical resources on our team. So where we're really spending our money is ensuring that we've got the best software engineers. I mean, Reverse Resources is based in Estonia, which I'm sure many people in the audience know is, the fifth largest digital economy, has a fantastic background in terms of quality build. It's where Skype was founded. So we're really kind of concentrating on the design talent, but then we also have one of our first guys on the ground in Bangladesh now, which is ensuring that we can really kind of close up the way that we're working with the garment manufacturers. And, quite fundamentally, unless we can get their buy-in, and that's where H&M and Tesco in particular has been so hugely helpful for us, unless we can get their buy-in, we really can't get them on board.
Because that's really the thing now, that we as a foundation have been able to support early stage innovation. No one would like to take that risk from the industry, but that's a role that we can take as a foundation. But now, after 1 year, you had the grant, you had the accelerator. Now it's really up for the industry, for different brands, to take the next step. So I really invite everyone to do that. I don't know if we have any question from the audience. I think we have 3 minutes left. Otherwise, oh, there it is. Sorry.
Very interesting, very impressive also the result of the world. One question for the foundation is, it looks like you are focusing in materials innovation, but not in process. There is a lot of going on in terms of vertical integrations of production in fashion, which we know in first hand fashion companies are quite reluctant to adopt. What do you think is the next step for your award in looking into innovation in fashion technology?
I think that innovation is actually part of all our programs. Global Change Award and the focus area Planet is the only work that we actually implement ourselves. Otherwise, we always partner with organizations. So when we work with education, for example, we work with UNICEF. When we work with the gender equality, we have partnered with CARE International and with WaterAid when it comes to water and sanitation. And I think innovation is one of our guiding principles in everything we do. It doesn't always have to be new technique. It could be new methods to use, new ways of measuring the impact. So I would say that our social programs that we support are also focusing on innovation, but I think it makes maybe more clear related to this program. Yes, I just got the sign that time is out. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Diana and also Orange Fiber and Reverse. Thank you so much.